Hello, BookTube. I have a bit of mail for you, and I've been naughty. But I have an excuse. It's not book mail, it's tech mail. Perhaps I should make a channel. Steve Tech Donoghue. I, uh, I have an excuse. I bought another laptop. I have quite a few laptops, but I have an excuse. Just recently, my MacBook Air, which is almost 10 years old, has been guffawing and harumphing and wheezing and blinking and sweating over trivial tasks. And I thought maybe it was because I hadn't used it in a long time. I just recently reactivated it after quite a while, just blissfully working on my Chromebooks. And so I kept working on it for a while to break it back in, and it didn't look good. It didn't look good. It was the fan was making louder noises every single time, and also it seemed to be holding a charge for a shorter and shorter amount of time. All signs that a computer has just been lovingly used to death. I have used that MacBook Air a lot. I have typed a lot on it. As you can see if you looked at the keyboard, the keys themselves are almost cracked. And when I saw that it was approaching its senescence, I had the natural thought, and you'll probably know what that thought is. Well, it's no skin off my nose. I have plenty of other laptops. No, no, I didn't think that. No, I didn't think that. I thought, well, if this laptop is ready to give up the ghost, then maybe I should buy another one, or more than one. And I found one online for a song. But that's the other item in my defense here. This is the package right here, and the other item in my defense is that this was dirt cheap. So that's the other thing that I want to stress here is that I'm not significantly out of pocket. This was I don't know, one Kirkus review, so not a big deal at all. And I wanted to give it a try because this is the newest. It's a Chromebook. Those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, a Chromebook is basically a computer attached to the internet. It's basically the portal to the internet. It runs on Chrome OS, the Chrome operating system, that all works through Google. And you have Google Docs and Google Storage and Gmail, and it's all on Google. And the laptop is basically your gateway to all of that. Although that's a quick thumbnail description that tends to sell Chromebooks short. It leads a lot of people who don't know anything else about them to think, well, I don't want a computer that only works through Google, and that's not true. The Chromebooks are very, very versatile. They can do a lot of stuff. They can do a lot of stuff offline, for instance. That's one of the big reservations that people have about them, is that they can't work unless you're online. That's not true. There's a lot of offline stuff that you can do. I have written many, many, many documents on my Chromebooks without being online. Works just fine, without a hitch. Also, most Chromebooks, you can put a kind of Linux operating system on there. You could use Ubuntu if you wanted to, and that's just fine. So that it's not even just Google. They're remarkably versatile devices and very inexpensive. And my reservation for a long time I have a couple of Chromebooks. I think I have 5. And using them, my one reservation has always been, well, you can't cut the tether, right? You can't cut the umbilical cord. You're always going to need your MacBooks for something. But like I mentioned, I stopped using my MacBook Air when I was worried about the S, D, and A keys just cracking on me with no replacements in place. I stopped using that thing, and then for about a week, just thought, let's see how long you can go on your Chromebooks before you encounter something that you actually need the MacBook to do. And a week went by and I didn't encounter anything. I thought, okay, well, if that's the case, then why don't I unplug, get the plug for the MacBook out of the power strip, wrap it around the MacBook and put it away. And if I need it, I'll call it. And again, that didn't happen. It was only after a couple of weeks after that I realized that the MacBook Air might have some documents and some pictures on it that aren't anywhere else. Which is not the kind that you get right out of that kind of thinking when you use a Chromebook, because everything that you do on your Chromebook is everywhere else. It's on every other iteration of Google Chrome that you have. So if I'm writing a document on Google Docs on a Chromebook, and then I was going to say I save it, but it saves it automatically. But let's say I save it and then I close that Chromebook, and then hours later I'm on my iPad or my phone, and I think of something that I want to change in that document. I don't need to go and hunt up that computer like I would with the MacBook Air. Instead, I can just open Google Chrome, go to Google Docs, and make the change there, and it will be true across any platform. So you get out of that kind of thinking that X is on Y computer and nowhere else. You get out of that kind of thinking, and thankfully, because I hate that kind of thinking. I've been screwed by that kind of thinking more times than I can count. But there was a time after a couple of weeks where I thought, okay, I'd better power up the MacBook Air and take a look at what's on it, because there were a couple of specific things I was looking for. And that's when I realized that aside from custodial stuff like that, I have broken the umbilical cord. I mainly live on these devices. But all of my Chromebooks were bought for dirt cheap. $50, $60, $70. Very seldom more than that, because it doesn't have any advanced technology inside it. They're basically gateways to the internet, with very limited but very competent word processing abilities off the internet. So I didn't think there was any reason to get anything new. Chrome OS updates automatically. Chrome OS protects you from viruses automatically. So I didn't think there was any reason to get any new Chromebooks, so I didn't get them. And all of my Chromebooks are therefore a little bit old. Not as old as my MacBooks, but old. And I thought, since this is really cheap, why not get a Chromebook that's fairly new? This thing came out in the spring of last year, so it is by far my newest computer. I thought we'll take a look at it together. Let's see. Let's take a look at it together. And we won't be the only ones, because the Bean is very interested. She is very interested in this. But I think this box is a little too big for you, baby. I'll give you a piece of cardboard instead. Here, let's fold this. I'll take a piece of cardboard. I'll fold it into a dog-appropriate shape. There we go. Let's hope that satisfies her. So let's see what we have here. This is a 14-inch Chromebook. I want to make sure that we have everything here. That's not everything, so let's take a look at the other end here. This is well packed. Very nice. Not always the case. Stuff you get for dirt cheap. Yeah, see, the thing that was... Here's another dog-ready shape. Let's see if she'll take this. That's one of my favorite things that she does, that you just saw her do when she's really excited. She throws up her hands like that. She doesn't just attack something with her mouth. She throws up her hands to do that as well. But I wanted to get at that box because the little box inside the big box was very important. It's the power adapter and everything. But this is the machine. Look at that. Bubble wrap. Oh, that's what? Oh, no, you can't have plastic, baby. You can't have plastic, little girl. That won't work at all. What have we got? No, you can't have plastic, baby girl. That won't work at all. Oh my. Okay. Oh, very nice. Okay, this is the Lenovo 14E for Enterprise. This is a 14-inch Chromebook, very light as a feather, that was made for the educational market. So you have the aluminum cover, but a tough plastic under chassis there, and a spill-proof keyboard. These little holes on either side there are you can just pour a glass of water onto the keyboard here, and it will run out the bottom. It won't hurt the machine. The machine won't even need to turn off. Oh, what have we got here? Oh, how nice. Oh my. Okay, this is a Lenovo 14E Chromebook. So I have some fun playing to do with this thing. It's got a charge. Nice. These are pry-proof keys. They don't pop off. That will probably end up eroding the white lettering on them. I tend to do that with every keyboard. But they won't. I won't be needing to replace them. They won't pop off. And you've got these nice solid hinges. Just a good, solid education. I mean, it was aimed at the education market, and kids can be rough on their machines. Also, another way that you can always tell a computer that's aimed at the education market is that it will do this. So that you have students on either side of a table, they can look at something together and slide it around to control that something like that. That's a standard thing for educational computers. Okay. All right, great. So all I have to do is play with this thing. It has a charge. It's in perfect condition. Great. So this is my new Chromebook. This is my second Lenovo Chromebook. I have a Lenovo ThinkPad that's very old. It's like 10 years old. It's a clunky machine that it's actually rimmed in rubber. It is also meant to be incredibly durable. It's meant to be dropped from adult height and survive. This thing, I'm told, the promotional materials for Lenovo puts out for this say that this is also drop proof, certified drop proof to a certain height. But looking at it, I don't think that's true. Look, I mean, you've got hinges like this. Unless this thing is weighted in such a way that it will never land on those, but if it landed on that, that would crack if you dropped it from any kind of height. So not that I'm planning on dropping this thing, but I'm just curious to know. So this is a refurbished model of the 14E for Enterprise, and I just have to explore this, find out what it's like. Mainly, the main thing that I'm curious about is what it's like to work on it. You know, because I don't. I'm kind of curious that this power cord is. It doesn't look like the usual Lenovo power cord. I wonder where this is going to go in. Where is this going to... Oh, okay. Boy, that's a little delicate. Well, again, I'm not going to be manhandling this, so I shouldn't worry about it. But something like this, that's kind of odd for a power cord. You want it to be a little sturdier than that. God Almighty, you should see the power cord and the port for the power cord on that old Lenovo ThinkPad that I have. The one that has the red center button. On Lenovo keyboards for the ThinkPad, they used to have a red center button right in there that would allowed you separate manipulation for our cursor aside from the touchpad and aside from the trackpad. And it also had the down at the bottom. This one doesn't have it, but it has the word Lenovo with a little red dot that turns on when the power is on. And that old Lenovo ThinkPad is incredibly durable. The power cord looks like something you'd use to charge an airplane. But the key travel on the thing, I love it for how clunky and sturdy it is. But the key travel isn't all that great. Using it, I noticed I was often fighting with it. And that doesn't work. That goes against one of Steve's first rules of effective composition, effective writing of any kind. Is that your circumstances, your physical circumstances can't be working against you. You have to pay attention to that long enough to know if your physical circumstances cause you to do a weird reach every once in a while or regularly, then change your physical circumstances so that that isn't true anymore. And it certainly holds true if you're fighting with a keyboard. And I noticed that I was on that old ThinkPad, so that contributed to my laptop panic, to my buying laptop panic. Because not only was the MacBook Air wheezing and looking like it was going to die, but the ThinkPad, that old ThinkPad really wasn't, I mean, I love the aesthetic of it, but it really was fighting me too much to use. In fact, I unplugged it, pulled out the plug from the power strip and put it in my tech drawer. Just assuming that I would only use it as a backup because it's a little too annoying. So really, I was down 2 laptops, not just one. Now, I know you're going to say, well, the ThinkPad did work, and it does. It works just fine. And you're going to say, well, the MacBook Air does work, and yeah, it does. It works just fine. But you get my point. I needed another book. And this is a 14-inch, so it's bigger than all my others, and it's newer. So that's fantastic. I will explore what this is like. And that is the mail. Unfortunately, it's rather self-indulgent, but then books are too. No? It's rather self-indulgent. This is another laptop. And who knows, it might be the one that I fall in love with. I'm still waiting for that platonically perfect laptop that I just fall in love with, that I just love. I had one once upon a time that I fell in love with. It was an old EEE PC. It was like that big, tiny little thing, pure plastic. I worked that thing until it quivered. And I didn't just wear out the letters on some of the keys on that keyboard. I cracked the keys. I cracked the chassis. I used it so much. I must have written 100,000 words on that old EEE PC. And I still have it. And it still turns on. It still activates. I just haven't been able to figure out a way to get it to do anything useful. I feel certain that it could be made to do something useful. I feel certain that that is true. I don't think I could work on it. I don't think it's fast enough to do. It's a very old machine, 15 years or something like that. But I keep meaning the next time quarantine lifts, the next time travel is comfortable and safe again, I keep meaning to trap a tech person here, invite them over for wine and calzones, and then haul out the EEPC and say, in order to earn your food and drink, you must make this work. I keep meaning to try that. But there's a part of me that wants to be able to do it myself. But one way or another, that is the opposite end of the spectrum, because this is now the newest computer that I own. This is from 2019. I don't know that that's going to make much of a difference. Like I said, with Chromebooks, it doesn't tend to make much of a difference. But who knows? I will be alert for what differences it does make. I will be taking the bean for a nice walk out in the sunlight, and then I will be playing with this for, I'm going to slate 2 hours. I'm going to give myself 2 hours to play with this, see how much it will do, how comfortable it is to work on. So that 2 hours will be setting everything up, syncing it to Chrome, seeing what's available in the App Store that maybe what isn't available on my older Chromebooks. And also half of that time will be an hour of work. I will write on it for an hour to see what it's like to live with this thing on the keyboard. Because that is so important. That's more important than anything else when it comes to my tech, is how the keyboard works. I've even been giving some thought lately to mechanical gaming keyboards, just in case they are more comfortable, more enjoyable to type massive amounts on. I don't know if that's true or not. I've never used one, never touched one. So I've been asking around to those who might know. I'm going to ask you as well. I'm assuming that the impression I get is that gaming keyboards with the big chunky keys are just keyboards, and that they can be used for typing. And so they can be used for typing. My main question is, would you want to? I've never touched one. I've never held one in my lap, so I don't know what it's like. I don't know if maybe it looks to me, looking around online, that there are gaming keyboards that are made for typing, not for gaming. So there must be people out there asking that question in addition to me. But of course, a keyboard connected to a computer by a USB cord is, for me, less elegant a solution than just a Chromebook or a laptop that has a poundable keyboard, a great, sturdy, wonderful, comfortable, responsive keyboard. So we will see. We will see. I will report back. But now I have some tech to play with, so I'm going to wrap this up and go do that. But I will be back. Thank you, BookTube.